Welcome to Level Up Tribes. Level Up Tribes provides resources to help you attain the necessary resources to level up your mind, body, and soul and realize your full potential. It is about exploring, learning, providing you with the tools from the experts for you to create a better version of yourself. I am your host, Agnes Goodwine, and welcome, Tribes. Today, we are going to discuss the 4 pillars of fitness to start your fitness journey with Coach Danna. She is back. I'm so excited.
Whoop, whoop.
Danna is founder of generationacoaching, and she's also an Orange Theory fitness coach. And today, Danna, please take us on the journey to creating the best version of ourselves. And if you could, let's break down each pillar and discuss what we can do to improve our fitness journey.
Let's do it.
Let's do it up. So we're going to start with nutrition. Are we misinformed about nutrition? What is your opinion about that?
Hell yes. I think we are extremely misinformed about nutrition. There are so many things out there that are just, it's hard to know whose advice to take and who's saying the right thing, and is it going to be right for me if I try it, and what do I do from there? There's so many things. I think the best way to find out is to try different things and see what works for you, what works for your schedule, for your life, and go with that.
There are various diets out there that could be overwhelming to someone starting out. What are your recommendations?
For somebody just starting out, trying to figure their way through nutrition, go into it with the mentality. First off, I would say, go into it with the mentality of, I want to learn my body. I want to learn my body. I want to learn what types of foods my body likes, my body thrives off of, what helps, me feel better, what gives me more energy. Also recognizing what doesn't.
Okay.
What doesn't make us feel good. And a lot of times it's hard to tell if something is actually bad for us to have. Getting blood work is also a great way, I think, to find out, getting
That's a good idea.
Blood tests and things figured out. Doing food intolerance tests, finding out things that we should stay away from. And starting out, going with that mentality of like, I'm going into this because I love my body and I want to see what it's made of while I'm here on earth. I want to see the best that my body can bring.
What are the best and worst sources of carbs? Because when people think of carbs, most of the time they think bread but there's, vegetables are carbs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let's start off with the worst. There's donuts. There's cake.
I love me some bread.
You know what I mean?
I know.
All of these things that we really do enjoy eating. So bad carbs, good carbs. Sure, we could go there. I like to look at food, to be honest with you, with the mentality of like, there's no such thing as good food and bad food. There is, if we overdo it, sure, yeah, it's bad for us. It's bad for our health. It's going to give you diabetes or different, things like that. But, bad sources of carbs, donuts. I always go to donuts.
I know. Boza donuts.
Right.
Oh my God. In Arizona, they're the best.
And how is it going to make you feel? I know sometimes when I have like a crazy heavy leg day, the next day my body's like, you need to feed me and you need to feed me more. Like I need something with more calories in it, and rather than, sure, it sounds appetizing maybe to have like a salad with grilled chicken and stuff like that. But other times, like, I'm just craving a donut.
Right. I know, but when do you know when you can and cannot? Like you said, like sometimes depending on your fitness level, if you're, is it high intensity?
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you need to fuel your body with carbs?
It depends. It's different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different things.
School me on that.
Sometimes it's a strength day, depending on intensity for sure is one thing. The higher the intensity of the workout, the more calories you're torching and the more you're going to need to help refuel your body after those grueling workouts. And, for somebody who it's high intensity can be defined in so many different ways. There could be a strength, high intensity, type of workout. Depending on a person's goals, really depends too on how much food, how many calories they need in a day. What are you trying to do? If you're trying to bulk up and trying to put on mass and increase your muscle growth and all that stuff, then yeah, you're going to need an increase in your carb intake and your calorie intake as a whole. But if somebody's trying to cut, somebody's trying to lose weight, cut fat off their body, then those numbers are going to change.
What about meal prepping? That there's a lot of discussion, and on Instagram, people are just meal prepping. Is that another avenue for someone that is trying to start their fitness journey to do? Do you recommend that?
I highly recommend meal prepping. Yes. And I'll tell you why. All the times that I failed to prep, I would catch myself going through the drive-thru a couple times a week. Yeah. And not only is it unfavorable food that I wouldn't necessarily make as my first choice, it's also a waste of money. True. Like I could pay $5 for a sub or a Chick-fil-A sandwich or something like that, but I can also pay $5 and have vegetables and rice and a portion of chicken, in my meal prep. Not that I eat chicken and broccoli for my meal prep, but for simple terms.
What if someone comes to you and say, well, Coach, I don't want to eat the same thing all week? What would you say to that? Because, we try to find excuses. So if your client comes to you and say, Coach, I really don't want to meal prep. It's us eating the same thing every day.
You don't have to eat the same thing every day. I get really bored easily. I'll be the first one to say that if my food is repetitive or if it doesn't have the flavor that I'm looking for. At our house, we do sometimes 3 different meals, big meals, and just kind of rotate through those. Okay. And they'll be completely different flavor profiles so that they're unrelated. Maybe it's Italian for one dish, it's Mexican for another dish, and it's Lebanese food for that third one. So you're getting completely different flavor profiles, keeping your taste buds surprised and looking more forward to having those different foods.
What about small, frequent meals or larger meals? Like, which one do you do, or do you recommend? Because that's another thing that I see and hear a lot. Oh, well, eat small meals throughout the day. Well, no, you should eat 3 balanced meals a day. It's like, okay, well, which one works?
Right. Yeah. And that's going back to even your first question. If we're misinformed about nutrition, it's like, how much food do I have to have? I think that's the first place to start is how many calories do you need in your body, based on what your goals are. So if you're trying to lose weight, there are so many calculators online that are good indicators to tell somebody how many calories they need based on, Google it, look it up and see. Okay. That's a good starting point. And then how you consume those, say 2,200 calories, it doesn't even matter. At least I don't think it matters. It's been working for me, the past 5 years. I think that's super important. It's just how much food are you supposed to be having? And then based on your life, your schedule, your work schedule, when you have to go pick up your kids, when you have to leave the house, then you can, space your meals around what works for you in your life.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important. Because if it doesn't work for you, it's not going to work.
Right. Just evaluate everything before you do start.
Yes.
What tools do you use when you cook, and any kitchen equipment or tools that you recommend when someone is starting their nutrition plan? Is there anything out there that you recommend?
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing is a food scale, a digital food scale, just to be able to measure out and know exactly how much food you're putting into your body and what the right amount of food looks like. Because you've done those challenges, is measuring it out and then consuming it is like, okay, yeah, that was enough food for me. I'm not like completely stuffed, but I'm satisfied and I know my body got what it needed. So food scale would be a great one. They sell them for super cheap everywhere, online, whatever it is. And the second thing that I would say that's super important is to me at least, is to find good Tupperware.
Oh, yes.
Find good Tupperware. And they come in different sections and, those are cheap too. Like,
yeah, I found some on Amazon, actually.
And they come in different compartments. You can get 1 big compartment, 2 compartments. You can even get 3. Like, do it up. And don't overthink it either. Like if you're just going on Amazon to find Tupperware, don't feel like you have to order, crazy stuff.
Right.
So just don't overthink it.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does someone stay on track when they are surrounded? This is a big one at work, by unhealthy food at work or at home.
Oh, boy.
This is tough.
It is tough. It's hard to be in a world surrounded by temptation all the time, for sure. Especially when you're surrounded in a work environment or a home environment where people aren't living the same life as you, same life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're not as conscious about the food that they're eating or just the way that they're living, you know, treating their bodies, etc. How do you deal with that? Well, first, I think it's important to set any judgment that we have about ourselves aside and remember that life is meant to be enjoyed, and know the difference between enjoying something that you like eating versus overindulging versus overdoing it. Like taking yourself to the point. I was having another podcast conversation with a friend of mine, Thomas, the other day. And, you know, we get to the point where we eat so much, and everybody's been there, myself included. I'm a trainer. I've been there, where you hate yourself.
Yes.
You eat until you hate yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, shit, why did I do that? Again, Thanksgiving dinner? Damn it. Got my ass.
Always.
We've all been there. And so it's just to have the recognition of catching yourself before you get to that point.
Yes.
Like your stomach starts to hurt you a little bit after you've had maybe a little too many servings. That's probably a good indication that your body's telling you, hey, yeah, I'm good right now. It's time to chill.
So if you're out there listening and you have those barbecues coming up and family gatherings, it's okay to indulge, but don't overdo it. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And I love going back to this all the time, is the 80-20 rule. Like keep 80%, you know, if you are really wanting to change the way that you live your life and live a healthier life, go to that 80-20 rule, where 80% of the foods that you consume and the things that you put into your body are clean, healthy, you know, nutritious, high density nutrients type of, you know, vitamins, all of that. And then 20%, like have Domino's, have the pizza, have the burger, have, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, and don't feel bad about it.
Yes. Just don't have it every day.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I was thinking back in regards to nutrition and diet, and I actually like the word nutrition better. Diet sounds, well, it has the word die in it. So it's not my preference.
So it means if you go on a diet, you're going to die.
It's just negative. You know what I mean? So I like the word nutrition because I think it's, when you're trying to change your lifestyle, that word nutrition kind of fits better. Instead of a diet, it just sounds
temporary.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
The word diet, and I want to even look it up really quick just to like see what the definition, but from what I'm aware of, the word diet means literally the foods that humans consume. But I think it's society that's put the word in front of or behind, you know, this diet, that diet, whatever diet. And so, you know, a quick example, yesterday I ran into somebody that I hadn't seen in a long time, somebody that I worked with in the past, and she was like, oh, I got to get back on that diet plan that you wrote for me. And I'm like, I did things a little bit differently, you know, when I first started coaching. And so, yeah, I did write meal guides for people to stick to. And that was more for somebody who is just starting out to get a guideline of where to start. And my goal is, when I work with somebody, is to progress from going from that to being able to understand their bodies better and knowing, okay, well, what's good for me, what's not. And so it made me stop to think like, I don't want people to think like I have to get back on this diet. No. Yes. Keep going and keep, you know, it's just eating.
Yes.
Like we overthink things so much. So much. And
that's where, that's the thing, overthinking. Like, I want to get to that point, Donna, that where I'm constantly thinking about, this is a lifestyle. This is an everyday commitment. This is just not for the next 3 weeks or the next 4 weeks. How can we change that mindset? It's so difficult to do.
Find out your why. Why do you want to make a change? And this doesn't even have to be, you know, fitness related or nutrition related. It's why do you want to make the change that you want to make? Everybody has that little itch inside of them. Like, we could all be better. We could all be better. I don't care who you are. And so asking yourself, okay, well, why do I want this? Why do I want to make a change? Is it to fit into your wedding dress in 2 months? Well, okay, that's great. But what happens after your wedding?
That's it.
It's like that temporary thing that we put onto ourselves. So why is important, rather than like, I will never put out a workout program there out into the world that says like, get bikini ready or shed these 6 pounds. What?
Right.
No, I treat my body with love all of the year round.
Right.
I feel I love my body, and for that reason, I believe I'm bikini ready all year round because I accept my body where it's at right now.
Yeah.
So find your why. And if it's a temporary why, your results are going to be temporary as well. But if you can find something deep inside of you, like deep down to your core that you truly believe in, that you can hold on to, and that's just going to grow, then I think that strong why will help.
Before we move to the next pillar, which is fitness, is there anything else under nutrition that you want to kind of wrap up or kind of add?
A big thing, a big breakthrough that I had when it came to my relationship with food. I had a really skewed relationship with food for a long time. And the big thing for me was not judging myself, was accepting that I had created these habits that I wasn't necessarily proud of, and to be in acceptance of what is, and then changing it, going through the steps to make our lives better. And like, we all know what to do. It's just a matter of doing it. It's much easier said than done. Yeah. And, don't feel like you have to change everything about the way that you eat in one day or in 1 week. That's not the way it works.
Okay.
Our brains were wired from the moment that we were born. All these things that we have held on to, and so it's going to take some time to rewire our brains and rewire our habits to form new ones. Okay. Yeah, be patient with yourself on this process. So important.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah.
So wise. So fitness. What is an optimal exercise plan, in your opinion?
That's a great question. Optimal workout plan. I think it's very important to be well-rounded more than anything in our training regimen. One of the biggest things that I notice about us as a whole in the workout world is that a lot of people focus on, we focus on either moving straight forward or backwards or side to side. And so the twisting aspect of things, I've been like really learning about, your deeper core muscles that allow you to rotate your body, the muscles that are connected to your spine, and a lot of them don't get used just moving straight forward and backwards or side to side. Incorporating different things that are going to help all aspects, whether it's endurance, strength, flexibility, power. What else is there? Core strength, stability. Being well-rounded, I think, is a great way. So if you want to put on mass, say, for a guy who's looking on putting on 15 pounds of muscle, while you're doing those heavy sets and while you're killing yourself in the gym, make sure that you're coming home and you're foam rolling and you're stretching and you're taking care of your shoulders and your hips. So that way, when you're 50, 60 years old, you can still lift your arms up above your head, That's true. So yeah, just being well-rounded, I think, is super important. The more I learned that, the less injuries I've had over the years. Yeah, it's been amazing. And really focusing on core, just where everything starts. This is for my ladies who have had babies.
Yes.
One, multiple. Like, the more babies you have, the weaker your pelvic floor muscles become. Okay. So incorporating the core as to be like aware of that, no matter what you're doing, as the foundation of everything.
Where do you start? I think that's the hardest part, like for myself and other people that I have talked to at the gym. It's like, sometimes it's just hard to know, where do you start? And because it's so intimidating. You go to the gym and it's just intimidating to me. And I'm pretty sure it's intimidating to someone else who's new, who's like, I want to change my body. I want to get healthy. But where do I start? Do I do it at home, to start a easy, comfortable program? Or do you suggest for them to reach out to a coach? Like, what is the best way for someone who is just starting out?
I think to start off with what you're comfortable with is important, especially if you're not familiar with a gym setting or working out and being in that vulnerable space in front of other people. I know that can be totally, just dreadful for some people. It's very hard, especially being a woman. Like for a guy, I think it's a little bit different. But for a woman to like go into the weight room surrounded by a bunch of men, like even now in 2019, like that could be very intimidating.
Right.
So do what you're comfortable with, I would say to that, and start off with something that's going back to being well-rounded, something that's going to work your entire body, there's so many free things online that you can find, YouTube videos have different demonstrations of exercises, like where people really break them down, help others who are not so familiar with how to do the exercises. Okay. So yeah, put together like your main movements are like your chest press, your squat, your deadlift, core work, flexibility work. Ask friends who maybe have been in the journey a little bit longer than you have. I'm sure that, if you have a friend, they would love to help you out. And that's what I love about the fitness community is like one way or another, we're all here to make ourselves better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's your best tip for people who are having a hard time committing to a workout program?
My best tip for somebody having a hard time is going back to why. If your why is temporary, if your why is not solid, concrete, nothing is going to be really consistent, with anything that you do. And that's not just working out. If you're having a hard time committing to a workout program, I think that shows some commitment issues that need to be further explored within ourselves. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than like, I don't feel like working out. Well, why? Do you feel like maybe you're not worth it? Maybe you don't deserve the, great outcome, or that you're not capable of working hard enough to do that. There's so many different things that, we put into our heads that can make us believe that. But go back to your why and create a solid why on why you want to do it. And then you won't have to worry about, am I going to commit or am I not? It's just something that you're going to do, and you're going to do, and you're going to do. And it's going to be hard at first. And then you keep doing it. And then you're like, 2 days go by and you're like, oh shit, I need to go to the gym.
Exactly. Yes.
So yeah, solid why.
Let's talk a little bit about weight training.
Okay.
I really like that part of the fitness. And can you talk to us why that's so important? Not just the cardio part, but just the weight training. And like you said earlier, when you get older, that's actually really important to have those muscles, because we lose muscles the older we get.
Well, benefits of weight training. First of all, keep you sexy. I think that'd be the first benefit. No, but as far as like physical, things that help us in our bodies, increases your calorie burn a day. The more muscle you have, the harder your body has to work to keep it up and just to be living and breathing every day. So there's that bonus, more calorie burn. Your muscles are stronger, obviously. And so your joints are going to be stronger and all of that, given you have a well-rounded weight training program. So if you're just lifting weights, but you never stretch, that's going to be painful down the road.
Yes.
But if we can go back to that balance and keep a balance, then you're setting yourself up for a lot of success.
I know my goal in the next year is to have arms like you. Seriously. I mean, I tell my husband every time I see a picture, I want those.
How much do I pay for one of those?
I know.
Amazon.
Oh my God, I wish. I would have had them today.
Oh, I love you for saying that. I appreciate that. And my thing too is like to just like go a little deeper into that.
Yeah.
I love you for saying that, and I know your intention is beautiful when you say that.
Yes.
But my goal as a coach, this is like coach talking, is I want people to be like, damn, she works hard. I want to work hard to see how good my arms can look. Okay. Like, well, what's the best that Agnes has?
Okay.
Like,
that's a nice little twist.
Yes. Like, okay, instead of like, this is a big thing. Women compare each other, ourselves to other women. And a lot of times it's just super unrealistic. Like,
that's true.
I've come to the fact I'm so at peace with the fact that my thighs are always going to touch. Always. Like, I'll never have a thigh gap, and I don't want one. I'm healthy. My man loves it. Like, there's nothing to complain about.
God, you're awesome.
You know? So, like, to focus on, like, bringing the best out of
You.
what those arms are capable of.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Hell yeah. Cheers.
Yes. Anything else on the fitness that you can think of?
I think that's it. Find a good support system.
Okay.
That's another good one, too. Find people to hold you accountable, especially on the days that you don't feel like going. Feel like you don't want to do it. Those are the days we need it the most. I always say that, and I will stick to that. The day that I don't feel like going. There's a difference between like just being lazy and like actually needing rest.
True.
Know the difference.
Okay.
And know that when you're trying to feed yourself your own bullshit,
Yes.
find a good support system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about self-care.
Woo woo.
I know. This is my favorite one.
Me too, actually.
What does self-care mean to you, and how would you define self-care?
Self-care to me has become number one. Self-care to me means my sanity. It means, in simple terms, making sure that my own tank is full before I give or share any of that with anybody else in the universe. So making sure that I'm taken care of so that I can give to my fullest potential. If my tank is on, E or negative,
Yes.
I can't give you the love that you're looking for or the love that you deserve.
Right. How does that, to you, how does self-care connect to the other two pillars that we talked about in regards to fitness and nutrition? How important is implementing that self-care to your why when you first start planning your fitness journey?
It's everything. It's the first step. Without a healthy mind, we can't even dream about having a healthy body. I think it starts in the mind. It starts in taking care of ourselves. And that's so key.
Yes.
So key. Because it won't work.
So you think self-care will probably come first when you're starting off and saying, you know what, I'm about to take on this journey. I need to do this first, figure out my why and figure out why I'm going through this journey. These are the areas of self-care that I must do for myself while on this journey.
I think for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
Depending on where they're at along their, say, spiritual journey, getting to know themselves more. And so we don't always know the steps to take or what to start implementing unless we try things. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't know that, something that I enjoyed doing was last week I drove to Flagstaff about 2.5 hours from here, Arizona, and I went to a concert by myself for the first time in my life. I'm almost 26.
Wow.
And I didn't know that I liked doing that until I actually made the trip. I explored downtown, I did whatever I wanted to, and that fed my soul. That was really good.
Nice.
And I didn't know that when I first started becoming more aware.
Right.
So I think that as we go, we'll learn things, what works, what doesn't work, what we want to stay the hell away from,
right,
and what we want more of.
What other things do you like to do to find that self-care for yourself?
I meditate every morning. I have been consistently meditating for the past 2 years now or so. And my meditation journey started off being introduced to me by my brother-in-law and my sister. And I would try it out, kind of get impatient, and then drop it. And then I would do it again for 2 days, 3 days, and then stop for a month. And I'd try to pick it up, and the cycle repeated. And I think the reason why that was happening is just because I didn't see the value in it. I didn't think I was getting anything from it. And so I kind of just, whatever.
Well, I see you have a mantra bead necklace on.
I just made my first mala.
It isn't awesome. I have one too. I made one a couple of months ago. And the necklace actually helps me to meditate because I'm a very busy mind kind of person. Mm-hmm. And so I do words of affirmation for myself. And that's kind of like my meditation practice.
Yeah.
Because I can't just not think of anything.
That
doesn't work for me.
I love it. Do you say them out loud or in your head?
Both.
Okay.
It depends. If I'm in a room by myself, then out loud. If there's other people, because I take mine even to work.
You never know when you're gonna need that shit.
Right.
I'm at peace. This morning,
I'm not gonna kill anyone today. I'm not gonna kill
108 times. That's hilarious. This morning, actually, I used them. I've been using them more often since I got it made. And the mantra that I was repeating to myself this morning was, I am love. I am love.
Yes.
I am love. And I feel it.
Yes.
So words of affirmation is another great way of self-care. I have to give a shout out to Moon Malas by Megan. Okay. This, a friend of mine, I met her a couple years ago. She does private parties. And so we just went over to one of my other friends' house and we invited a bunch of women over and everybody got to pick out their beads and we called it malas and mimosas.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Oh my God. If she has another one, please let me know.
I will let you know for sure. Okay. Yeah, we're planning on it. So she's great. She tells you like what the purpose of it is and how to meditate with it, how to cleanse it and, all that voodoo shit.
Yes,
that
it's a wonderful tool to have.
It is. Yeah, it's great. Other things of self-care. I love spending time with people that mean a lot to me. I feel like finding a balance between alone time and social time is also self-care. Not spreading ourselves too thin. I went through a long time, I think a huge portion of my life. Just recently, I recognized how important it is to divide my time with friends and having different interactions.
Yes. Your tribe and your circle is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And like going back to that tank thing, if my tank is not, ready and I'm planning all these happy hours and going out to lunch with friends and having all this, going parties and stuff like that, then I'm going to be on negative real quick. Right. And then I'm not going to feel good. Right. So yeah, it's important to learn how to spend time alone and enjoy that time alone with yourself, with your thoughts, with your body, your emotions, all of who you are, and finding people that you enjoy being around.
So our last pillar is spiritual balance. Can you talk about how you find your spiritual balance?
Taking lots of deep breaths.
Yeah.
See, and even the way that's kind of worded, the way you find it.
Yes.
You don't find it.
Right.
I don't think we find it.
Right. You think it comes to you at the right time, or
when we have the proper set of eyes to see?
Yeah.
When we're not so blinded by the storm that's going on around us, I think it will allow us to see the growth that's really trying to come in. I think the biggest thing that really threw me into getting to know myself more was the dark parts of my life, the things that were really hard to go through, the things that were shitty that we say no person is supposed to go through, and I went through a lot. Yes. Lot. And maybe we can even talk about that on another episode. I would love to.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I just think, Danna, that whatever someone's spiritual belief is, I think it's so important for us as a human being to believe in something higher than yourself, whatever that may be. That's just my personal opinion. Just when you're down and you're in a funk and especially someone that battles mental illness, that thought that there's something bigger than yourself that you can look up to. And that's why I think that having that spiritual balance, or whatever someone might call it, is important, because it kind of gives you something to look forward to, something to look up to. What do you think?
I think it's very powerful to have that belief that the world doesn't start and end with us. There is something out there. And for me personally, I believe that God is within all of us. I think that I strive every single day to tap into the godly power that I was born with. And I believe that everybody has it. You just have to dig a little deeper if you haven't found it yet, And so, yeah, it's important to believe that we're not the biggest deal in the universe.
Right.
Like there is so much more out there that plays a part in the puzzle. And we're just a small piece of that puzzle.
Yes.
Floating along, little dust clouds.
That's true. How can people shift their attention to be more in the moment, to be noticing where they are and what they're doing with less judgment and more acceptance and love and kindness?
I think I have a couple different answers for that. My first one is being in 2019 in the technological world that we're in. is it's important to spend time away from your phone.
Yeah.
It's important to spend time away from your phone. I believe right before bed, first thing when you wake up in the morning. I choose to do my meditation in the morning before I open Facebook, before I answer any text messages or anything like that, because I want to be the one that runs my day. Not, this, if I get an ugly message or something or news that is not so great, if I haven't already set the tone my way, then that information is going to be, it's going to come in a different way.
That's a great tip.
And so spending time away from that allows us to disconnect from the comparison that the social media world, gives off or makes us feel, I guess. And the second thing I would say too is, I just finished recently reading a book by Eckhart Tolle called A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose. One of my hands down favorite books.
Okay.
If you haven't read this book, it's so good. Him and Oprah actually did a whole podcast series breaking down the book.
Okay.
All 10 chapters. Beautiful stuff.
I'll add that to my listen to.
Yes. And a lot of things he talks about, he always comes back to spending time in nature and the stillness that nature offers. It just is. It doesn't think about, a tree doesn't think about the tree that's blooming next to it. It just blooms. It just grows. And watching, if you walk through the park or spend time just outside in general and, you take a minute, take 10 deep breaths and really absorb what's going on around you. The wind blowing, the birds chirping, singing, the butterflies floating around you, the leaves falling from the trees. All of these things really, I think, are meant to help us check back in with ourselves and get down to the root, that God power that exists in all of us.
Let's connect that, what you just said, with everything we have discussed today in regards to nutrition, fitness, self-care, this last pillar of spiritual balance. How does that connect with everything when starting off your journey?
I think it's really just so important to be in yourself and to know who you are, why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you wake up every single morning and do what you do? And if you don't have a reason for that, explore it and find out why. And if you don't have a strong enough why, if you can let that thing go, let it go, because it's not serving you otherwise. Right. So and so many different types of things come with learning ourselves, different types of ways that we can take care of ourselves. I saw this the other day, actually. So ways that we can take care of ourselves physically is with sleep, stretching, walking, physical release, healthy food, yoga, rest. For emotional, that's super important. Stress management, emotional maturity, forgiveness, compassion, and kindness. These are all self-care. Social self-care, big one, boundaries.
Oh, yes.
Support systems, positive social media, communication, time together, and ask for help.
Ask for help. That's a big one.
It's hard. Oh, it's very challenging to ask for help, to admit that we're in a vulnerable space. But you know what? The real ones always come through.
Yes.
The real people who have got your back and who love you no matter what are going to be there to help you in whatever way that they can.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing each of these pillars together for us, and for someone that's listening that is trying to get, their fitness level, to another level.
Leveling up.
Yes. Is there anything else that you think we missed that we need to kind of discuss again, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're full of knowledge, and I'm so glad that you reached out to me.
You're so sweet.
To discuss this.
I love talking to you.
I love talking to you.
Seriously.
Where can people find you to, if there's anything that kind of, that you mentioned today that they want to discuss further with you, where can they reach you?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I would love that. You can find me at generationacoaching@gmail.com. Our website is also www.generationacoaching.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. It's DANNA, Donna, SALHANI, first and last name. Yeah. I'd love to chat.
And congratulations on your wedding.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you. And hopefully you'll come back again. Maybe, we can do a series of stuff of, fitness, nutrition, whatever it is that you have in mind. We can go ahead and, just talk about it.
Cheers to that.
All right.
I'm excited.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Please visit the website at www.leveluptribes.com. And please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. Catch you all next time, my beloved tribes.